name is Lissa Anglin, and I'm going to share with you how I shot some of my favorite images of my kids that I got this summer. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what my settings were and my thoughts behind those settings. We had come home from dinner that night, and it was the golden hour. So it was that beautiful goldeny hour of sunlight right before sunset. It's a beautiful time to be shooting, and our sprinklers were on, so our kids busted out of the car and automatically just started running and playing with them in their clothes. And I thought, wow, this light is really great. I'm gonna go grab my camera. So I did. I grabbed my camera with my favorite lens, my 28 to 70. I had my ISO set at 400 because it was still relatively bright outside, and I knew I would be able to capture the action just as I needed at 400 ISO. My kids were running around quite a bit, and so I wanted to make sure that I had a decent shutter speed as well as aperture, because I wanted to make sure I got them in focus no matter what. So I went ahead and set my aperture at 3.5, and I had a pretty quick shutter speed of 160. Now it probably could have been a little quicker, but for this first image of Liv, the shutter speed was set at 160. She doesn't move that quickly. So a 3.5 aperture and 1/60th of a second shutter speed did just fine. Now, because I actually had the sun behind her in this image, I went ahead and exposed for the shade where her face was. So that's probably why I had a little bit lower of a shutter speed than I normally would have, because I had to compensate a little bit and make that background just a little bit brighter so that I could see some more of the detail on her face. Now for the second image, I scooted back and pretty much was facing the exact same direction as I was in the first image, but I went ahead and zoomed to 70 millimeters. So I was all the way zoomed out on this lens so that I could get a nice tight portrait perspective, and I kept my f-stop at 3.5, so I was able to get both of the kids in focus because they were basically in the same focal range. Liv was standing essentially in the same plane that Knox was starting to run in, so that kept both kids in the same focal range. And I went ahead and upped my shutter speed to 2/50th of a second because I knew that Knox would be running towards me through those sprinklers, and I wanted to be able to stop his motion and those beautiful little beads of water that the sun was catching. So ISO 400 as well on this one. I never changed it. But I did go ahead and up my shutter speed a touch just to make sure that I got Knox frozen in time there. And then this last one, the sun had really started to set at this point, and Knox and Liv were sitting in the driveway with some towels and getting warm again. But I loved the way that golden light was coming across Knox's face. And so I think I literally told him, look at the sun and laugh for me. And so that's what he did. And I was able to get that pretty light on his face. I was sitting right across from him, so I was zoomed to the widest part of this lens, which was 28 millimeters. I stayed at my 3.5. That was plenty of focal depth for me right there. And I went ahead and bumped my shutter down just a little bit to 200th of a second because it was getting darker and I needed to compensate for that light just a little bit. I still stayed at ISO 400 this whole time. And I still love these pictures to this day. I know that those are some good memories that I was able to capture. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and we'll do some more soon. Thanks.